of the construction of Kamomo, Dhosi, and Dambana dams in Embu County, and could be the Cabinet Secretary outline the occasions taken by the government to resolve the issues? B. Could the Cabinet Secretary also outline the measures in place to fast-track implementation of these dam construction projects and provide timelines for completion of each dam?
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Honorable Speaker, in response to the question by Honorable Mdigi, Kamumu Dam is a zoned high rockfill dam that is 60 meters high, 725 meters long, that will store approximately 22 million cubic liters. This project is expected to cost approximately 6.65 billion Kenya shillings. And the project was developed by Tana Waterworks Development Agency. There was an expression of interest on the same in December 2020 under the financing, under the model of engineering, procurement, construction, and financing. Following the evaluation, the Wilman Group of Belgium was identified as a preferred contractor. However, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the project could not commence due to the high cost of financing proposed by the contractor. There were issues with land and wayleave acquisition that still remains incomplete according to the RAP, which is the Settlement Action Plan. In the meantime, feasibility study updates are underway and engagements with key stakeholders, including National Land Commission, are ongoing to unlock land-related bottlenecks, and the project is part of the some projects on the pipeline for under PPP framework. Honorable Speaker, in Dhosi Dam, which is a zoned also rockfill structure, 84 meters high and around 332 meters long, is expected to have a storage capacity of around 23 million cubic meters. The project is meant to do some irrigation, domestic consumption, and produce up to 5 megawatts of power, and the approximate cost is around 9 billion. The status is the project was advertised in 2023, and a PIP, privately initiated proposal by a level group company, was submitted by an investor for implementation under design, build, finance, operate, maintain, and transfer model. Despite the progress, there have been delays that resulted from the complex due diligence processes that are associated with PIPs, particularly technical and financial appraisals, and also alignment with regulatory and fiscal frameworks. The land acquisition process, that is including RAP, has also not been finalized. And to mitigate these challenges, the ministry has reviewed and validated the submitted designs, initiated interagency coordination to fast-track evaluation, and this is also scheduled under the PPP project pipeline. Honorable Speaker, Dambana Dam, at the confluence of River Dambana and Rupingazi, is designed to be 40 meters high, storage capacity of around 27 million cubic meters, and is expected to supply water for domestic and also do some irrigation to around 24,000 acres and generate 1 megawatt of power at a cost of around 22 billion. Conceptual design was completed in 2023 by the ministry, and an expression of interest was again issued in August 2023, and accepted also the same month. However, the proponent did not submit the mandatory deposit fee required under the PPP regulations of 2022 for PIP proposals, prompting the ministry to initiate a fresh process. The second part of the question, Honorable Speaker, was to outline the measures in place to fast-track implementation of these dams construction projects and provide timelines. Honorable Speaker, Kamumu, Doshi, and the Mara Dams projects in Embu County, the ministry has put in place several mitigation measures aimed at resolving the outstanding issues. The measures reflect also our commitment to deliver the critical water infrastructure while maintaining transparency and aligning with the national planning framework. Kamumu Dam is currently being finalized through a cabinet memorandum for consideration and approval. And the memo seeks to secure high-level policy direction and unlock requisite financing to allow for prompt implementation. And in recognition of the time that has lapsed since the initial due diligence activities, the agency, which is Tana Waterworks Development Agency, has commenced the process of updating the due diligence report to ensure accuracy and relevance of the technical and financial documentation. On Doshi Dam, which has already been advertised and for which a PIP has been submitted, the ministry continues to engage with the PPP Directorate and the National Treasury to expedite the evaluation process and secure timely approvals. On Dambana Dam, following the proponent's failure to meet the mandatory deposit requirement under the PPP Act of the ministry has initiated a fresh procurement process. In the meantime, the project has been formally included in the fourth medium-term plan. Engagements are ongoing with other prospective investors who had previously expressed interest in the project. And Honorable Speaker, the exact construction timelines of these three key projects, as asked by the Honorable Senator, will depend on the conclusion of the outstanding procurement, financial, and other statutory processes. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I submit. Thank you.
Senator Mundigi, do you have any supplementary questions? If yes, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question to the Cabinet Secretary: is it possible for Cabinet Secretary to advise or to tell people of Embu County whether there is any money in this budget of 2025 for those three dams? Because Cabinet Secretary knows water is life and life is water. And about farming in Embu County, we are trying to motivate youth and others people for farming, and better south and better north. Animals are dying, people are dying because of lacking of water. And about farming, we are farming mogoka, and the farmers, they cannot progress without water.
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for that question. As I've explained, is that the three dams are in the pipeline for the public-private partnerships, and the resources we have in the current financial budget, we have a small allocation, not specifically for those three, for all dams that require review of appraisals, because to go to PPP, you need to have preliminary concept designs and to do project appraisals. So, Honorable Senator, Honorable Speaker, we have a small allocation for these kind of studies in the budget. Thank you.
Senator Kinyua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Cabinet Secretary, you remember for the World Water Celebration Day, you came to Tegethi, Matanya, and you launched a project, Tegethi Water Project. I'm just asking, how far is it now? Because when you came, you brought in pipes and other gadgets that are related to water, but immediately you left, the pipes followed you thereafter. Please, where is the status of that project? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mine is to find out the status of the construction. I know the design and of Keben Dam is to find out what is the status of the Keben Dam in Nandil sub-county, because we have waited too long, Mr. Speaker, for that project to take off, and whether there is availability of funds to to construction and completion of Keben Dam in Nandi Sub-County, Nandi County. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the CS was talking about concept note and also availability of funds. Honorable Speaker, the government, the Kenya Kwanza government promised 1,000 dams. And so far, I want to ask the CS, out of the 3 dams, he has gotten 0 out of 3. So that means even achieving the 1,000, it is going to be 0 out of 1,000. My question is, there is a sewer line in Marsabit, not completed up to today. I want to ask the CS, because you have already 0 out of 3. If I add Marsabit, it's going to be 0 out of 4. When are you going to complete that irrigation system in Marsabit town? And when are you going to visit Marsabit to tell the people of Marsabit when this project will be complete? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator for Kilifi County, the Honorable Majaya.
Asante, Mheshimiwa Spika. Nataka kumuuliza waziri wa maji. Ni lini lile bwawa lililoko katika eneo bunge la Ganze linaitwa Rare Dam, ni lini lile bwawa litamalizwa kujengwa, na vile vile ili bwawa hilo liweze kusaidia wananchi walioko ndani ya Ganze constituency na Kilifi kwa ujumla? Kwa sababu wanawaziri, ni kama vile wanavyoelewa kwamba nyakati fulani rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya Mheshimiwa William Ruto alikuwa maeneo bunge ya Ganze na akaenda katika ile eneo la huko Rare, mwenyewe akaliona na akaahidi ya kwamba hili bwawa la maji la Rare Dam litaweza kumalizwa ili kuweza kumaliza ukame ndani ya eneo bunge la Ganze. Ni lini mnapofikiria kwamba wewe kama waziri wa maji utaweza kufanya hiyo kazi ambayo rais mwenyewe aliweza kuahidi watu wa Ganze katika Kilifi County? Asante.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, mine is to the CS. I wanted to know the status of rehabilitation of Singore Dam, which is supposed to benefit the community and also Singore Girls High School.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At the B, the Cabinet Secretary has talked about PPPs, and I want to ask him, what's the success rate of these PPPs, and have you done any? What's the statistics? Have you done any successfully? Have you gotten any investor interested to work with your ministry to make sure that these dams succeed? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond. Before you respond, let's take just one question from Senator Kavindo. You may proceed, Honorable Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to know from the CS about Maruba Dam, where it is, and if there is any allocation this year, this financial year, to complete the work in Maruba Dam, which is very key in Machakos County, and especially Machakos Town, and Yatta Canal, Yatta Dam and Yatta Canal. What is the status? When is the completion of these 3 dams? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, for your questions. There was a question on Tigivi water project. I am aware of that project. If the Senator can allow me, Honorable Speaker, to give you a detailed status on that, I would really appreciate, because I know the finer details is required, especially on that kind of a small project of water supply. Please. The question by Senator Cherargei on Kebendam. Senator Cherargei, Kebendam is a key project in Nandi, and we have already advertised this dam under EPCF. Evaluation is ongoing. We already have a consultant who is doing this, and this is in the progress of taking shape. EPCF projects take time, especially in evaluation and procurement. There's a question by Honorable CHIRCHIR on the 1,000 dams. And this is what I've explained, that the speed which we expected the uptake of PPPs in water, this also couples with the question from Honorable Manzo, has not taken off. However, we have done a diagnostic analysis on how to make water projects, especially high-intensive, capital-intensive infrastructure, feasible to the ministry. And this has been a challenge that we are working to resolve. Because, as I said, our cost recovery tariffs are not in place. The question on Masabit sewerage, I know that is ongoing and it has taken time, and that you're right. Allow me to give a detailed brief on the status of this. There's a question on Rare in Ganze. Ganze, I know the challenges we have of water in Kilifi County specifically, and this also couples up with the, because we share a common water resource from Baricho that comes to Kilifi, it also goes to Mombasa. This challenge will be resolved apart from doing the Rare small dam. When we complete the master plan in Mombasa of Moache, so that we stop the water that comes from Baricho at Kilifi, so that it is shared in Kilifi, Malindi, and Mtwapa. So, on Rare, I can give you a detailed brief exactly on the same. There is a question on that has really come to the attention of the ministry, and this has come more often to the ministry, on Maruba Dam, which is in Machakos. Maruba Dam is one of our national urban programs that we are running as a ministry. And the infrastructure has been done. The pending problem is land composition to the people of Maruba. And I answered that question again in this house because we're in the process of NLC, the National Land Commission. Those are the people who evaluate and give us the amount to be paid. So the allocation we require here from the ministry is, from the government, is to start paying these people in piecemeal. Your
Senator for Kilifi, you do not rise on a point of order again as the CS. So allow the CS to conclude. I will give directives on the issue you've raised about Rare. Proceed, Honorable CS.
And to confirm to Honorable Kavidu that because we don't have the entire money to pay the people of Maruba, we plan to acquire those pieces of land in piecemeal. First of all, you start with the sections where the actual works will be going, because the remaining section will be the impoundment area that will be flooded. Maruba and Muongoni, I am well aware of Maruba and Muongoni dams. So Maruba is already in existence. I am tying the two together Senator.
Honorable Senators, allow the CS to
Please.
respond. Allow the CS to respond. Yes, respond to the questions. Honorable Senator, when I'm speaking, you yield. You're out of order, Senator Kavindu. You're totally out of order.
Honorable Speaker, the issue of Maruba and the issue of Mongoni Dam are in the same vicinity. The water supply in Machakos right now is fed by Maruba Dam. Maruba Dam is, as we speak, is complete and in use. As we speak right now, it is complete and in use. So please, Honorable Speaker, Maruba Dam, as we speak, is complete and in use. The issue of Yatta is another dam under the PPP pipeline that I've already explained to the House. The question by Honorable Kipsang, especially on Singor Dam. Singor Dam is under Singor. It is under procurement as we speak. And also the question by Honorable Manzo on the status of PPPs and whether we have some that have taken place. We have some under irrigation, but on dams, we are not yet to secure any of them to completion. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Honorable Senators, if you look at the clock, we have long used the 15 minutes that we had allocated to this question. Now, Honorable CS, on Rare Dam and on the project in Marsabit, you've undertaken to provide a detailed response to these two questions.
Yes.
Do so in the next 7 days.
Thank you.
And the one that had been asked by the Senator for Tharaka Nithi, those three, file your detailed responses within the next 7 days.
Thank you.
Honorable CS, we have come to the conclusion of your session. You may leave at your pleasure.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, members.
Now, Honorable Senators, as we usher in the CS in charge of roads and transport, allow me to make this communication. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this morning of visiting teachers and students from Thanze High School in Machakos County. The delegation comprises 1 teacher and 55 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I will request the Senator for Machakos County under 1 minute to extend a word of welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to wish the teachers and the students from Machakos County a very welcome to the Senate and tell you that you're in the right place. You're now watching and seeing how we deliberate the issues. And I'm sure when you put your great efforts in your studies, some of you may end up in the Senate and others in many various places. May God bless you as you have your day at the Senate today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Clerk, kindly usher in the CS in charge of roads and transport. Welcome, Honorable CS. You have 9 questions to respond to this morning, and therefore this is my guidance as far as time management is concerned. We are going to spend not more than 15 minutes per question so that we cover all the 9 questions before 1 p.m. The first question is question number 69 by the Honorable Senator from Murang'a County, Senator John Yutu. You may now proceed to ask the question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My questions to the CS is A, why does the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, use privately owned motor vehicles for patrol on highways? B, who owns these patrol vehicles and how are their services procured? And C, what plans does KENHA have to acquire its own patrol vehicles like other state corporations? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Senate. I'm happy to be here this morning to respond to the various questions. And let me respond to the question by Senator for Tharaka-Nithi, Senator Mwenda. Sorry, is that?
Honorable CS, you're responding to question number 69 by the Senator from Murang'a County.
My paper, the person who has got my papers has been locked outside. Sorry about that, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Joe Nyotu, member, Senator from Murang'a County. And let me straight away go to the answer to the question on KENHA and the specific question, why does Kenya National Highways Authority use privately owned vehicles for patrol on highways? Who owns these patrol vehicles? And what plans does KENHA have to acquire its own patrol vehicles like other state corporations? Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to respond. The Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, utilizes privately owned motor vehicles as it outsources road maintenance works through performance-based contracts. Under these contracts, Honorable Speaker, members, particularly on critical roads such as Thika Road and the Nairobi Southern Bypass, the scope includes regular road patrols to monitor compliance with traffic regulations, rapid response to include to incidences and breakdowns, protection of road infrastructure including street lighting and guardrails, immediate assistance on motorists in distress. The arrangements, honorable members, Speaker, ensures efficient maintenance while enhancing overall road safety. And on the patrol vehicles that are owned, the patrol vehicles are owned by performance-based contractors who are basically assigned the contracts on the performance-based contracts. In terms of maintenance, contractors who are competitively procured in compliance with the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015 through the open tender method. Honorable members, on the final question, the authority does not to procure its own patrol vehicles for maintenance.
Though Kenha outsources its road maintenance services, it's not very clear from the response why Kenha officers would use privately owned motor vehicles, because this is not a road maintenance. So, and was there any cost-benefit analysis done before this particular decision was made? Because, of course, government needs to save resources. Are we saving by using privately owned motor vehicles? Because my understanding is that there's a difference between road maintenance and patrol. The question, Honorable CS, was about the patrol vehicles. Because again, you realize that if sometimes motorists do not even know who is stopping them, because these are privately owned motor vehicles. So I think we may need to see clarity on that. And I think that is the only question that I have. And it also touches on your response on C, because we need to know, is the cost-benefit analysis, has it shown that we are better off, we'll save state resources through privately owned motor vehicles and not motor vehicles owned by the corporation? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS.
I think to the extent, Honorable Speaker, let me offer some. To the extent of the periodic based contracts maintenance, there is clarity that, yes, we tender for maintenance of a particular road for a period of a year, 2 years, and therefore the contractor who wins to maintain that road through that competitive process therefore works like any other private contractor who is constructing any road out there, and they use their assets to maintain the road. To the extent of the Kenya staff inspecting the road and using their vehicle, that is an area where we need to get clarity, because Honorable Nyoto then would have a point to the extent that, yes, we should be inspecting the roads using Kenya vehicles, and yes, we have Kenya vehicles to maintain the vehicles, to maintain the roads, or to inspect the roads for that matter. And therefore, I can take up that to make sure there is clarity between periodic maintenance, which is a contract given out to a private contractor to maintain the road, and when it is the aspect of inspecting the road by Kenya staff, we'll then make sure we pay attention and confirm the concern raised by Senator Nyoto that we should have enough vehicles, if that is not the case, to inspect the works in the various roads. I thank you.
Senator Manzo.
Yes, does it not have a security bearing, and Mr. CS, is it not better for you to work in conjunction with the police if you have to utilize private hired vehicles, and is it not a collusion between yourselves and the private people so that they can make money out of Kenya?
Honorable CS, you may respond.
I think we just, what I did indicate, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members, to the extent of a periodic maintenance contract, is a private contract like any contractor. You don't expect them to use Kenya vehicles. But to the extent of supervising and inspecting the works on the various roads, the Kenya staff does not in any way come in contact with the road users to the extent of really wanting to be discreet, because they would just be inspecting the works done by the periodic maintenance contractor. So if there has been a case where our staff in Kenya are not properly facilitated with their vehicles, that is a case which I said I will take it up, but it shouldn't really be a problem inspecting roads using Kenya's assets or using Kenya's vehicles, and I undertake to follow up that, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Nyoto. But to the extent of clarity, the periodic maintenance contract is a private contract which is done by the contractor who wins the maintenance contract for particular roads. But the concern raised by the speaker, by Honorable Nyotu, I'll take up to the extent that there's a claim of lack of proper facilitation and staff could be inspecting the roads using their private vehicles. I thank you.
Honorable Senators, we'll now move to question number 70 by the Senator for Kilifi and the Minority Leader, the Honorable Stewart Mazayo. Honorable Senator, you may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask my friend, the Minister for Roads, some 2-3 questions. Mr. Minister, when will the Mombasa-Mtwapa Kilifi Road project, which is a key part of Northern Transit and Transport Corridor, be completed? Number 2, are there any plans to install lighting at the Kibarani Changamwe interchange in Mombasa County to enhance security and vision for motorists at night? Finally, when does the government plan to commence the construction of a second bridge linking Mombasa Island to the North Coast mainland to ease traffic congestion?
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Senator Matzayo. Let me straight away go to the answer. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to respond as follows. The Mombasa-Mtwapa Kilifi project is divided into 2 lots with different completion dates. The lot 1 is the Mombasa-Mtwapa, the bridge currently being constructed at Mtwapa town. And the project commenced in November 2022. Currently the progress is 42%. The project is expected to be completed by November 2026. Because Senator comes from that region and he understands the challenges we faced with that very narrow corridor between Mombasa and Mtwapa, and the challenge of land compensation coupled with the bending bills, I want to confirm that we have sorted out the bending bills issue through the funds we raised through selling our 7 shillings for securitization by a bankruptcy remote SPV, and therefore we are fully compensated, or we are fully compensating the residents, the project affected persons on that corridor. The compensation could be going on, but all the money has been released to the National Land Commission, and therefore the slowed project, including compensating the contractor for the bending bills, has been sorted out, and we should see very good progress going forward. On the second lot, Honorable Speaker, lot 2 starts from Mtwapa, that bridge in Mtwapa, all the way through Kadzengo, Kilifi, and the project commenced in December 2021. Currently, the progress is 64%. The works are expected to be completed by March 2026. The project experienced a delay due to challenges with land compensation equally, and like I said, the issues of compensation is a story of yesterday. We have sorted out the bending bills issue, and National Land Commission is currently in the process of compensating the project affected persons, and we'll be able to even finish that corridor through Mtwapa town. The current contract includes the installation of street lights from Makupa roundabout to Kwa Chomvu interchange. Implementation is scheduled to commence in June 2025, which is just about now. And on the third question, the ministry through Kura is undertaking a PPP project for the second Nyali Bridge, which is still at preliminary stage, but let me hasten to basically say with the road infrastructure works going on in the coast region, we really need to finish that Nyali Bridge so that connectivity with the works that has been done in Mombasa, in Kwale and Kilifi can basically seamlessly connect that great city of Mombasa or the coast region. I thank you.
Honorable Mazayo, if you have any supplementary questions, you may proceed to ask.
I think I'm okay. No, I think
Senator Mazayo, do you have any supplementary question to ask?
I felt I haven't organized myself.
Okay, organize yourself as I give opportunity to your colleagues. We'll come back to you. Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu za ujenzi wa barabara ya Mombasa Malindi, maeneo ya kutoka Kengeleni mpaka Mtwapa, kumekuwa na msongamano sana katika barabara hiyo. Hivyo basi magari mengi yanapita na Links Road kupitia Nyali ndio yatokee Bamburi Nyali Center yakielekea Kilifi na Malindi. Mheshimiwa Spika, barabara hii katika maeneo ya Quickmart imekuwa donda sugu kwa wakazi wa Mombasa na wakazi wa Kilifi. Kuna vidimbwi vya maji pale ambavyo kila kukinyesha inakuwa ni vigumu magari kuweza kupita. Hivyo basi utapata mara nyingine msongamano katika Links Road mpaka maeneo ya Shell petrol station. Mheshimiwa Spika, hili tatizo litaondoka lini? Kwa sababu tumeona kura wanakuja na mikutano mara leo wanafanya ushiriki wa umma, public participation, kesho wanakuja wanalaumu kaunti ya Mombasa, kesho kutwa wanasema ni wawekezaji ambao wamejenga kando ya barabara ambao wanasababisha msongamano ule na maji kutokwenda. Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo la pili, hizi taa katika barabara ya Causeway ni aibu kwa Mombasa Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu mtalii akishuka katika uwanja wa kimataifa wa Moi kuna mataa pale, lakini akianza kuingia mjini Mheshimiwa Spika ni giza tupu. Wale wakatalii wa mara ya kwanza ambao wanaingia Mombasa Mheshimiwa Spika, wakiingia pale wanajiuliza, je, twenda kwenye mji ama twenda kwenye msitu? Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Manzo.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, the CS has talked about PPPs in relation to construction of the bridges. What are your statistical successes and the foreigner partners or whoever private partners willing to partner with you? What are the success statistics you have of successful PPPs in your ministry, especially in relation to the bridges?
Honorable CS, you may respond.
Let me beg to answer Senator Faki's question in English. Ndio nisichanganye sana. The congestion that is currently experienced around Quickmart, around Bamburi area, Senator Faki, on that road was exacerbated by the fact that we were unable to call the shots on the contractors because we owed them so much money. We have now paid them, and we are calling the shots. I have visited the road severally, including when the President went to inspect that road, to the extent that just around Bamburi Nature Trail there, the corridor has been very congested, and to the extent that the slip roads could not even be done because we needed to compensate for the corridor to move the wall out after compensating the project affected for Eastmen, project affected persons by Eastmen. Having compensated the contractors, you will not see that going forward. We've had meetings with the contractors. I've just come from a meeting this morning, and we will easen the traffic. We will accelerate the construction and finish that road very quickly. There is no reason why the Mtwapa to the lower part towards Kilifi is basically complete, except for the Mtwapa Bridge and the corridor around there, the small section that has not been tarmacked. There is no reason why Mombasa to Mtwapa is not catching up, and I want to promise that we will accelerate and catch up, address the issues of congestion, having money to compensate for the land or project affected person. We will now be able to open the corridor and have the slip roads to function so there is no congestion. Because we were constructing on a corridor with no additional space because we had not paid the project affected persons. But with the money now being available, I want to assure this House that that will be a problem of the past, and you'll see us calling more shots to make sure the contractors do what is right. Now that we have paid what is due to them, and we expect them to basically be facilitative so that those traffic congestions we have witnessed are eradicated, but also bring the project completion much sooner than was expected with the delays due to non-payment because of pending bills. On the causeway, I was in a meeting not very long ago between the contractor Victoria Construction Company, who is on that section, with the governor from Mombasa, Abdul Swamad, and we need, the lights were pulled down when the construction started, and with the construction being completed now, with that bridge at Kwachomvu, which will finish in the next maybe 1 month, 2 months. Let me promise 2 months. The bridge which was hanging there around Synergy, because we were also unable to compensate Synergy to give us space to finish the bridge. So the bridge was built going up, and the dropping side had been hanging there for 5 years. That bridge is being built and it's being now completed, and the lights are in a progression of being restored with the completion of that road, so that when the clients arrive at Mombasa Airport, we don't have them getting into that darkness that has been experienced over the long delayed construction. For the question raised by Senator Manzo and the success of PPP projects on bridges, there will be PPP programs that can work in areas where there's significant traffic. And when you talk about Nyali Bridge, it is, success of PPP with respect to investors, the drivers are the traffic. For a road where there's so much traffic, it becomes very easy to get a project which is bankable. But if it is a bridge where there is no traffic, you possibly get 20 vehicles per day. Even if you are charging 10, 15 shillings to cross through that bridge, it will not repay for the investment to give return on the equity or the investors as a business for the next 30, 40, 50 years. But you do know the bridge we are talking about, it's a very high traffic area. And so we are looking at possibility of a PPP. But like I said, equally, for the work that has been done lately, for those of us who know Mombasa very well, there's a serious transformation in the road infrastructure in Mombasa. And whether we succeed on PPP or we don't, we need to open up this bridge through PPP or through GOK funding. I thank you.
Senator Mazai.
Asante Bwana Spika. Nataka kumuuliza waziri, ni hatua gani ambao unachukua katika hiyo barabara ya kutoka Nyali kuelekea mpaka kwa Kazengo Mtwapa? Ni hatua gani unachukua ili kurekebisha, kuona ya kwamba magari ya wananchi yanayopita pale juu ya ile barabara hayaharibiki kwa sababu ile barabara ni mbovu sana. Unachukua karibu masaa 4 mahali ambapo unaweza kuchukua dakika 10 kutoka Nyali pale Kenya Revenue College mpaka kwa Kajengo, ambapo tunachukua masaa 4 hivi sasa. Kuna msongamano wa magari mengi sana, hususan ukifika pale kwa bridge ya Shibondetewa. Ile bridge hivi sasa ni kama kuna hatari kubwa inaweza kutokea, kwa sababu wengine wanasema imeanza nyufa, haipitiki vizuri, na pia vile vile imejaa na imeharibika zaidi. Sisi tumesafiri nchi za ng'ambo, hata tukiwa na wewe wakati wetu ule wa ujana. Unajua barabara kama inatengezwa kule China, ni lazima kuwe na side road, ile barabara ya kando ambayo inasaidia ile barabara ambayo inajengwa. Hawa wanatutengezea hizi barabara. Je, wizara yako inachukua hatua gani hivi sasa kuona ya kwamba zile barabara zinatengezwa kando ya barabara ile ambayo inatengenezwa na pande zote mbili, ili wanaokuja kutoka Mtwapa kuenda pande za Mombasa ama kutoka Mombasa kuenda pande za Kilifi? Ni hatua gani wizara yako imechukua kueleza hawa watu wanaotengeza zile barabara kwamba kunahitajika kutengeza barabara za kando kama vile wanavyotengeza kule China ama kule wanakotengeza hawa watengezaji barabara? Magari yanaendelea kuharibika sana.
Honorable CS.
Allow me again to respond in English, Speaker, kwamba the Mtwapa Bridge, which I touched on, which is in the second portion of this particular corridor, is ongoing. It's a very long bridge of about 150 meters. The current bridge is a bit compromised. Ukiona kwa umbali unaona imeregea. There's a problem. I know what the senator is talking about. I've been there a few times. And like I said, Honorable Speaker, members, we have compensated the contractor on that road for bending bills. We have compensated the land affected persons, the project affected person within Mtwapa town, so that we are now able to connect the second section which is complete to the Mombasa side over the bit of compromise bridge. But I am confirming, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, that we are accelerating the completion of this bridge. Now that we've got financing on this particular road, we've paid for project affected persons on that corridor about 2 billion, which is currently in progress. We've released the full funding to the National Land Commission, and compensation is going on as we speak. Shida ni kwamba when a project takes too long, you try to compensate, you find that the people who were initially in the list, there's succession issues and so on and so forth. But the full funding, as we speak now, is with National Land Commission, and the contractor knows that that challenge has been basically removed. Like I said, we have also compensated the contractor to work to the extent of 40%. The challenge, so to the extent of really accelerating the project, we want to quickly finish that particular corridor and ensure that road is motorable and the vehicles are not getting spoiled in that difficult section that Mheshimiwa Manso talked about. With respect to the service roads, sometimes as a developing economy, it becomes very difficult to buy land from land users, possibly demolish houses which have been built very close to the road to build a service road. So it's a case of really economics. Do we compensate to build temporary roads while we are building the roads? Where there is a corridor, yes. Where there is no corridor, it becomes a bit of a challenge. But allow me, for the programs running in Mombasa with the expedited payments or the ESAN payments, to accelerate the connector between the Mombasa side and the Kilifi side through this Mtwapa bridge very quickly, and ensure that we do remove that challenge. in a very short time, because the challenge for a long time was the bending bills and the very slow work that was whatever. With respect to slip roads, which have also been designed, and I will seek to have possibly a more closer meeting with the senator to show him the design. There are slip roads around through Mtwapa town. What we have done now is just to compensate for the inner corridor to move waugazaji, the wafanyabiashara wadogo, so that we can build the main corridor. But there are slip roads, and because we now have money, we are compensating, and we'll have slip roads through the town. The challenge was, because we were not able to compensate them, you would not actually know that they are slip roads. But when you see the designs, we've designed with slip roads, rather service roads along the main corridor. So we've compensated earlier on through exchequer release some 73 million shillings to get access to build the main corridor. The slip roads, we've now gotten money and we are compensating to do the service roads, which are parallel to the main road. And you will see that, and I can spend some time with Senator Manzo to show him the design, the fact that we have compensated for the main artery, and we are now compensating for the service roads through the town. I thank you.
Senator Faki, you certainly cannot raise an point of order again as a CS. What is your intervention?
My first part of the question was not answered. The problem is on the Links Road, where we have a pool of water next to the Quick Mart supermarket, directly on the road. And even if you go there right now, you will see that pool is still subsisting. And I remember during the month of May, if I'm not mistaken, there was a public participation done by Kura, where they started a blame game between them and the county government of Mombasa. A lady has lost her eyesight on that road because she was traveling in a tuk-tuk, and as a result of hitting a portal, something hit her eye, and now she's partly blind. So it's a serious problem, Bwana CS. I know you said you have been there, but motorists, those who are going to Kilifi, those who are coming to Mombasa, have that problem every day. Every day we encounter that problem. Even those who are now residing in Nyali are thinking of relocating, because every day in the morning there's a traffic jam, in the evening up to sometimes 9 p.m. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I now understand where Senator Faki, I thought we were talking about the Mtwapa Kilifi Road. This is the Nyali bypass to Mtwapa Kilifi Road or Mombasa Road. And I know the exact location, and in my last visit to Mombasa, this was #1 agenda with the governor, where on either side of this particular road, where there's a kind of depression, there are developments on both sides. There's a hospital on one side, they've built a wall, and there's no way to drain the water on this very low section. And we need to really tunnel out the water in this particular depression. And it requires some serious design. I've discussed this with the governor. We are discussing with the land users how to get access to be able to get drainage out of that very low section. And then, yes, I'm aware it's a Kura project. I was talking about the Kena on the main highway. And let me undertake to follow up what Kura has done on this particular one. But it was more of the city plan to basically allow for development without drainage pathways. And therefore, it's one thing that if you are to think about a quick solution, you'll need to be pumping out water because you need to push water up and then look for a channel out. But we need an access to be able to develop a drainage from that low section. And then therefore, yes, I'm aware of that. We've discussed with the governor, and I will pick it up with Kura to see how far we are, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Faki. Asante.
We now move to question number 85 by the Senator for Kilifi. You may proceed to ask the question. Senator Mazayo, question number 85 is yours.
Yes, that's right.
Do you want us to defy it?
No.
Then proceed to ask.
Bwana Waziri, na imani ya kwamba unaelewa vile nitakavyokuuliza maswali haya, hususan ni kwamba yanahusu Kilifi County. Je, Bwana Waziri, kwa barabara na uchukuzi, unaweza kueleza ni hali ya hisia ya upanuzi wa uwanja wa ndege wa kimataifa wa Malindi? Vile vile, Waziri wa barabara na uchukuzi, nataka kuuliza, unaweza kufafanua jumla ya ekari ya ardhi iliyotengwa kwa ajili ya mradi huu wa upanuzi, na pia kueleza idadi ya wamiliki wa ardhi watakaoathirika. Vile vile, Waziri, nataka kukuuliza, je, serikali imeweka mikakati ipi kuhakikisha kwamba wamiliki wa ardhi watakaoathirika na upanuzi huu wanalipwa fidia kwa haki? Na je, unaweza kutupea takwimu ya idadi ya wamiliki wa ardhi waliokwisha lipwa fidia hadi sasa pamoja na kiasi walicholipwa? Mwisho, Bwana Waziri, je, serikali imechukua hatua gani kuhakikisha mchakato wa ulipaji wa fidia? Na wewe kama Waziri wa barabara na uchukuzi, unaweza kutoa ratiba ya malipo kamili ya fidia zote ambazo bado hazijalipwa mpaka hivi sasa?
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Senator Mazayo. Again, because the question was filed in English, I responded in English, and I hope we have the printed response with honorable members. Honorable Speaker, I'm pleased to appraise this House on information sought regarding the status of compensation framework for the planned expansion of Malindi International Airport, communicated through our letter reference Senate 4S/4-Q/2025-051, dated 11 June 2025. The status and compensation framework for the planned expansion of Malindi International Airport, Honorable Speaker, was declared, or rather Malindi International Airport was declared an aerodrome via a Gazette Notice number 1161 of 8th March 1961, commonly referred to as Aerodromes Control of Obstruction Ordinance Annex 1. The Gazette Notice described Malindi Aerodrome as an unsurveyed area measuring approximately 231 acres. Honorable Speaker, in Speaker, to secure the airport land, the government of Kenya, FIDE, a grant number CR 30280, Annex 3, granted the authority a 99-year lease with effect from 1st February 1997 through the Government Land Act Cap 280. The land measures approximately 100 0.6 hectares as delineated on the survey plan number 211701 of 2nd May 1997, which we have annexed as 4 to the authority. This conferred a land reference number of 10688 to Malindi International Airport. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the proposal of the master plan for Malindi Airport, Annex 2, undertaken by an airport consultant, Sofrifia, the authority in 2017 initiated land acquisition process, phase 1 for expansion of the airport through the National Land Commission, through a Gazette Notice 3390/2017 of 2017. The acquisition process was undertaken to completion. Valuation done by National Land Commission and the project affected persons issued with awards in respect of improvements on the land and disturbance allowance to fully compensate them for that purpose. The project affected persons were compensated excluding the value of the land. The compensation amount was assessed at Kenya shillings 424,205,901 with a total of 155 project affected persons. Honorable Speaker, some of the PUBs filed an adverse possession suits before the Environment and Land Court claiming to be declared the rightful owners of the affected parcel. The cases were, however, dismissed. The PUBs and other claimants then moved to the Land Acquisition Tribunal through various appeals. Honorable Speaker, on 8th February 2024, the Tribunal issued a consent order directing the National Land Commission and KA to regazette the intention to acquire, conduct joint inspection to determine land ownership and issue awards to the project affected person. Pursuant to this court order, honorable members, the Commission regazetted intention to compulsorily acquire land for expansion of Malindi International Airport and inquiries into the claim through Gazette Notice Corrigenda number 2584 of 13 February 2025. Honorable Speaker, the inquiries into the claims were conducted over a period of 3 days between 25th March 2025 and 27th March 2025 at the DCC's office in Malindi. A total of 15 land parcels with a combined acreage of 19.8936 hectares were listed in the Gazette Notice. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the inquiries by the National Land Commission, other issues were raised by the claimant on adverse possession occupant in good faith and historical land injustices. These matters are currently under review by the National Land Commission. Honorable Speaker, the authority is further undertaking design and land requirement assessment for Malindi Phase 2 expansion project to allow a runway expansion from 1.4 kilometers to 2.4 kilometers. This followed the setting aside of injunction imposed on Phase 2 acquisition project FIDE via a ruling delivered by the tribunal on 10th February 2025. The land acquisition process and resettlement action for Phase 2 will be subject to budget availability, and as I end, I want to confirm that I have lately, in the last 2 months, visited this airport to address some of these challenges, met the leadership of Malindi who are on the ground, and we are paying attention to this airport because, albeit the challenges we have faced in the expansion of Malindi Airport, to the extent of suggestions as to whether we could go to Vipingo or EPZ or SEZ, the tourism industry in this area and the need to sustain the investments which are wasting away in the hotel industry because of a lack of a good airport to be able to bring in big planes through expansion of this airport so that we can bring in big equipment with the tourists that favor this destination is something that the government is paying a lot of attention. And I want to confirm that this is a top priority amongst the airports that we are paying attention to be able to grow our economy, bring in more tourists into this economy, and support that hotel industry that is invested by majorly the nationals of Italy. I've met the ambassador lately in my office, and we are looking for quick ways of correcting and expanding this airport to this 2.4 kilometers. I thank you, Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Mazzaya, do you have any supplementary questions?
Bwana Waziri, nilikuwa nataka kuuliza kwamba uwanja huu wa ndege wa Malindi ni uwanja wa zamani sana. Hata ulikuwa zamani kabla hata Kisumu Airport haijatengenezwa. Lakini kitu cha kushangaza ni kwamba mpaka hivi sasa ukisikia inaitwa Malindi International Airport, hata wewe mwenyewe unajua. Ukija kule kama kwa holiday ama weekend, unapata ya kwamba kiwanja kile hakiko katika status ya Malindi International. Na haya yote yameletwa na kwamba wizara yako imesusia ama imekataa ama haifanyi juhudi zozote kuona ya kwamba wale wawekezaji, kuna wawekezaji kama kina Flavio Biatore ambao walikuwa wako tayari kupanua hicho kiwanja katika mipango ama mikadirio ya wewe ya wizara yako na wale walioko tayari kutoka Italy kupanua kile kiwanja. Nataka kujua ni kwa sababu gani wizara yako kufikia hivi sasa imeweza kukataa hawa wawekezaji kupanua hichi kiwanja. Na vile vile nataka kukueleza ya kwamba hata ikiwa ni wakati wowote kuanzia hivi sasa kunahitajika kupanuliwa kiwanja cha Malindi, wako wawekezaji ambao wamejitolea tayari, ambao wako tayari kutengeza hichi kiwanja. Mmoja wao nikiwa ni yule ambaye nimekueleza hivi sasa, ambaye wako tayari kutengeza hicho kiwanja kukifanya kiwe kiwanja cha kimataifa. Je, unaweza kueleza kwamba hawa wawekezaji wameweza kufanya mikakati ama ushirikiano gani na serikali ama na wizara yako ili kuona kwamba kiwanja hichi kimeweza kupanuliwa kikawa kama status ya wale watu wengine kama Moi International ama Kisumu International, tupate ikiitwa Malindi International, inaitwa Malindi International kikadirifu ama vile inavyotakana kuitwa. Asante Bwana Waziri.
Honorable CS.
I think I'd, in my supplementary answer, I touched on the supplementary question being asked by Honorable Matsayo, and I confirm and agree that what Mheshimiwa Matsayo, Senator Matsayo has raised is true. This is a critical, important airport for the kind of tourist destination we're talking about of Malindi in Kilifi County. And therefore, it's of uttermost importance for the government to address the concern Senator Matsayo has raised. The challenge in Malindi is not the infrastructure development. It has been more on the getting the runway expansion. On the front side of the Malindi is a very high population that has been very expensive to resettle, but that we must resettle if we are going to expand this airport, and we are going to do that. The other challenge is a road on the other side where the airport would cut through the road, the Mombasa-Malindi road. And so we're paying a lot of attention. We rely on tourists as a major GDP contributor into our economy.
I think, Honorable CS, the question was, there are investors, private investors, who are willing to put their money in the expansion of Malindi Airport. But your ministry seems not to be in sync with these investors. what is the problem? That's what the Honorable Senator has just asked.
And the straight answer, which maybe I'm not coming out very clear, is the project affected persons. What investors will not do is to do land compensation. And we do not wish to basically concession the 1.4 kilometers. We want to expand to 2.4 kilometers. Thank you, and sorry about that. Honorable Speaker, the straight answer is that we will embrace investors to come in, but the biggest challenge is the land compensation, because like I said, to be able to bring big planes into Malindi, some of the charters, we need to extend the runway to 2.4 kilometers. And that is the primary challenge. If we were to concession the airport and give away to an investor to rebuild Malindi Airport at the current 1.4 kilometers, we will not have corrected the challenge. We need to expand the runway to be able to land the big planes. So the priority which is top on my desk is to do the land compensation, and I think we've done significantly. We are doing significantly well. Like I said, I just visited that airport not very long ago, I think in the last 3 months, and I met the leadership on the ground, and the aim of the visit was to address the question of expansion of the runway, so that putting up a modern building is not a big challenge. Recarpeting that second runway, which is in state of disrepair, is not a big challenge. But we need to get it to 2.4 kilometers. And therefore, the big challenge to bring investors is more of the land acquisition and paying the project affected persons, so that we can expand and bring the big planes, which today would land in Mombasa and transport the tourists by road. So allow me, honorable members, to basically refocus the land compensation, the acquisition, and therefore the expansion of the runway. I thank you.
We shall now move to question number 3. We have spent 22 minutes on this question, and we had allocated only 15 minutes. We have 6 more questions to go. Proceed, Senator Sifuna. Proceed, Senator Sifuna, so that we make use of the limited time.
I think, Honorable Chair.
Let's proceed. Proceed, Senator Sifuna. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Senator Fernande, please take your seat. You're scheduled. I'll call you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think members have forgotten that there was an advisory that priority would be given to the senators who asked questions, and then we'll hand over the CS for supplementary questions. If I'm not wrong, Honorable Speaker. My question is number 93. Honorable Speaker, I want the CS to address 3 questions. Actually, there are 4, and these questions originated from a meeting with the Karen Langata Residents Association. Honorable Speaker, can the CS tell this House what is the current progress of works on the Riruta-Ngong railway line project, whose construction was commissioned in 2023? Secondly, could the Cabinet Secretary provide comprehensive details on the rationale for initiating the project, including the source of funding, the design framework, feasibility studies conducted, environmental impact assessment, and the economic justification supporting its implementation? Thirdly,
could the Cabinet Secretary provide a financial and cost-benefit comparison between the proposed reroute Ngong railway line and the alternative option of dualing the Bomas-Rongai to Kiserian section of Magadi Road and the Ngong current section of Ngong Road? And finally, Honorable Speaker, what is the current status of compulsory land acquisition by government for the reroute Ngong railway line project, and how will the associated land acquisition cost affect the overall project budget and implementation timelines? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You may proceed, Honorable CS.
Mr. The development of Nairobi Commuter Master Plan 2019. The master plan identified key commuter line corridors for development and modernization within Nairobi metropolitan area. The key identified corridors forming the core network are Kikuyu Limuru, which is currently existing under the meter gauge railway, Riruta Thika, which also exists today with the meter gauge railway, Lukenya, Kitengela, Konza, also existing, airport, which is proposed, Embakasi village, which is existing, and Riruta Ngong under implementation from Riruta to Ngong. Riruta Ngong commuter line, which will be linked to the revitalized Nairobi railway station, is also one of the commuter lines identified as critical transport infrastructure under the prioritized integrated transport system for decongestion of Nairobi metropolitan area. The rationale, honorable members, behind preference of the commuter rail over land transport is that commuter rail is for mass transport, and therefore the carbon footprint is what we all desire today. And where one commuter train carries about 6,600 passengers, both standing and sitting, which is equivalent, honorable members, to about 460 14-seater matatus. And that is one way of decongesting our city. I have just indicated where you can get that master plan, and in today's time of technology,